everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a first impression on a new foundation and primer duo that I recently picked up. If I sound a little weird, I'm a little sick, so I apologize, but I am fine. I wanted to record for you all today and get this up for you all just so you guys can see how I like this product. So I know I mentioned it a while ago on one of my hauls and a lot of you guys were asking for a first impression, so I'm finally here to do that for you all. So these are the new Soap & Glory makeup products. So I have the One Heck of a Blot Instant Perfecting Power Primer, and I also have the One Heck of a Blot All Day Liquid to Powder Foundation. So I wanted to put these to the test today. A lot of people online were giving this a lot of great reviews, and this kind of had more mixed reviews. Some people said it didn't work with their oily skin. Some people said it was a savior for the oily skin. So I want to put this to the test and see how this works. I am going to be doing a couple errands throughout the day, so I'm going to be kind of checking in with you periodically and letting you guys know how I like the foundation and how it's wearing on my skin as we go throughout the day. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to start out with the primer. I'm only going to be priming half of my face. So the claims on this is it's supposed to instantly diminish the appearance of pores, control shine for 12 hours, make your makeup last longer, hide imperfections, even out skin tone, reduce the appearance of redness, and leave you good to glow. So that is like a lot of claims for a primer, and I'm very excited. So this is what the packaging looks like. It looks very similar to the Makeup Forever Step 1 primers. If you have not seen this before, it even feels the same. Oh, it's not as thick as I thought it was going to be. It's a little bit more creamy of a formula than I thought. I thought it was going to be more silicone-y, especially because it's a pore primer. A lot of the pore primers I've tried in the past are a little bit more silicone-y and kind of like glide on the skin and really just soak into your pores to fill everything in. So I'm going to be using that much on the side of my face. I probably look really silly because I have my brows on, but they always just need to be done first. This feels really good on the skin. It doesn't feel sticky or tacky at first, but it's starting to now as I'm blending it out and more predominantly into my skin. It feels good though. Let's see. I don't notice a huge impact on my pores, to be honest with you. They look just as big. Let me apply a little bit more just to the center where I have the most stubborn pores, and they're the hardest to fill in with any primer that I have. So I'm really gonna be pressing it and like working it into my skin. Yeah, that seemed to work a little bit better, so probably gonna be doing that from now on, like pressing it. Feels good, it's very lightweight. I like that so far. So moving on to the foundation. This is the One Heck of a Blot All Day Liquid to Powder Foundation. So this says it's supposed to control shine for 12 hours, deliver flawless full coverage and no cakiness, and also blur away the appearance of pores and imperfections. It has a pump, which is really awesome. I love that about it. I think this was like $19 or so. I think the primer was that as well. So I got the color Cool Sand, which they only have 4 shades, which is a huge bummer. So that kind of sucks. But let's see how... Oh, the formula of it is actually pretty good. I did about 2.5 pumps. It's pretty runny, as you can see, so it's not a super heavy and cakey foundation. I am going to be applying it with my Morphe E6 brush. I don't really like using a beauty blender. I actually never use a beauty blender, so I'm not going to be applying that with that. I know a couple people like seeing reviews and first impressions with like half a beauty blender and half a brush, but I don't use one, so I'm not going to do that. I want to do what I typically would do with my routine and see how it's going to wear. So I'm going to be dipping into the foundation and applying it on my skin. I hope this is the right color for me. Like I said, they only have 4 shades, so it's going to be really hard to match, and it's kind of a bummer that I don't really have like a wide shade range. So this is going on pretty nicely. I don't really see a huge difference in the application of the prime side versus the not. It is pretty full coverage though. I feel like this is a little too light for me right now. I'm gonna be patting it into my skin so I get the most coverage from this. As you can see, I have a lot of like acne going on up here that I want to cover. I also have a couple of acne blemish spots down here. It covered them pretty well. I don't really see too many peeking through. You can obviously see the texture on my skin, but the redness has kind of diminished and gone away, which is nice. So let's see what is gonna go on up here. As you can see, it's so light for my skin. This is like the second to lightest shade, and I was nervous it was gonna be even too dark. So I might have to go up a shade and just mix if I do end up liking this. So it covered this imperfection really well. A lot of the time when I have an imperfection, I really like to pat and press in the product so it's not gonna like move it around and then kind of smear all over. So I like to press it in like that, and it looks pretty good. I was like thinking this was gonna be super full coverage, especially because it was more of like a runny, liquidy consistency. but I'm liking the way it looks right now. It's definitely liquid to powder. I feel a little tackiness, but it's not anything that's unusual for foundation. It does feel a little bit more on the powdery side for something I've never tried before. I've never really tried something that's more liquid to powder, so we shall see. But right now, I am really liking it. I don't notice a huge difference in my pores. I do notice a big difference on this side with the primer and the foundation that are kind of supposed to diminish the appearance of pores and kind of blur them all out. This side looks really, really good. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but this is the unprimed side that I did not put anything on. I did do a good job, but I think the prime side looks way better, especially for blurring out all my imperfections in my pores. So now I'm just gonna go with my concealer and kind of use what I would normally do in my routine. All right, so the foundation and the primer are on. I think this looks really, really good. I think I have like a really nice flawless looking base, which is what I like to go for on an everyday basis. If I'm wearing makeup, I'm either like not wearing it at all or going full glam, so there's no really in between with me, which I know is kind of crazy for a lot of people, but that's just how I like to roll with my makeup. So I'm gonna go finish off the rest of my makeup and I will check back with you in just a little bit. Alright, so I'm back with all of my face makeup applied, and I also finished my eye makeup. Did something really simple today. I'm not really feeling a lot of eye makeup, so I just want to throw on some lashes, but I do want to let you guys know things on top of this blended out really nicely. I didn't have an issue with kind of my contour blending out or my bronzer blending out or my blush, so that was really awesome. The only thing I'm a little worried about that I can see right now is that it is sinking into some of my fine lines, and it's emphasizing some of my texture down on my chin and kind of in the nose crevices. It's kind of starting a little earlier than some of my other foundations, so I'm a little worried about that, but I do like how it looks from a distance. I think it looks really flawless. Again, it applied really easily, so the real test would be the wear throughout the day. Right now it is about 11:30, so I will check it back in with you in a couple hours and let you guys know how it's wearing. Hey guys, I am back. Sorry I changed. I look a little different, but it's now 2:43, so it's been what, 3 hours almost, just a little over 3 hours, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I'm loving this right now. Not because I'm oily, because I'm not super oily. It's just sinking into every single fine line and area of my face, and I just don't know. It's emphasizing a lot. I'm gonna zoom in and come up close so you guys can see. It's kind of hard to see on camera actually. Maybe you can't see. Like right here, there's so much texture on my chin and even on my forehead. You can just see everything, but far away, it looks so good. It looks so flawless. The color is okay. I think it's at a good match for me right now, but again, I don't like the color shade range. I think it's not universal for a lot of people. I'm not sure if they were just like trying out a couple of shades to see if people like them and then bring more over to the States. But yeah, I think the prime side does look better. I don't notice a huge difference with my oils again yet. This has only been about 3 hours. I also want to show you it's breaking up on my nose, like right here. You guys can see a lot of foundations do not stick to my nose for some reason, no matter what primer I'm using. This did a pretty okay job at first, but it's now breaking up there. I don't feel oily, so it looks a little cakey. I'm not gonna lie, it does look a little cakey. I may have used a little bit too much. I used like 2.5 pumps just because I wanted to make sure everything was covered. It says it was full coverage. I probably should have only used like 1 to 2 and see how far that went. And I really only focused the second half of the pump on my apples on my cheeks area because that's where I have the most redness and that's the place I want to cover up the most. But right now it doesn't look too bad. Again, from far away it looks absolutely stunning, but then when you go up close it looks a little weird, but it's not making me oily, which is good. So 3 hours in, not oily, hallelujah, but I will check in with you guys in a couple more hours. Hey guys, I am back for my final check-in. It is about 9:45, so I've had this on right now for a little over 10 hours and I'm ready to get this off. The result, I am oily, as you can see, both of my T-zone and a little bit on my cheek area. I have noticed as well that it has worn off on my chin area. My nose especially is probably the place that it's worn off the most. Other than that, I do think my prime side looks a lot better. I don't know if the cakiness is going to result from using a different primer or a little bit less product, because I do like the way this foundation looked. I think the application that I may have used and the amount of primer and the amount of foundation that I used may have changed the results of the first impression, but I do think my contour, blush, bronzer, highlighter situation still looks really good, especially after like 10 hours of wearing this, so pretty impressed. But when I do touch my forehead and kind of remove the oils, it is kind of transferring onto my hands. I don't have an oil blotting sheet, or I would show you guys that, but overall I do really like this. I think I'm really impressed so far. I do want to try it out with a different primer and a different setting powder and kind of wear it. I did a little differently, see if I like it any better. But again, I do like the prime side better. I think it held up really nicely. Everything again looks really good. It's just a little bit worn off, which is gonna happen. I've worn it for 10 hours and it's been a little bit of a hectic day. I've been touching my face and everything, so it's worn off on the places that a lot of the foundations that I typically would wear always wear off as well. So I'm not super surprised, but I think it looks really, really good, especially for the length of time that I've worn it for and the amount of oil that my skin can produce. So I'm pretty impressed. I would give this like an 8.5 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you all, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye.